Good evening, students. I hope uh, all of you are ready for another live session related to CSEET program. And this is an examination which is conducted by ICSI. And I think all of you are aware, ICSI stands for Institute of Company Secretaries of India. It is the autonomous body which comes under the Corporate Affairs Ministry, and they are the only institute which has the right to train and produce the company secretaries in the country. Now, I mentioned this in my previous live session, which was yesterday. Let me repeat if in case somebody was not there yesterday. Earlier, we had something called the CS Foundation exam, and it was scrapped some 6-8 months back. And now it has been replaced by CSEET. Now, what is the expansion of CSEET? CSEET stands for Company Secretary Executive Entrance Test. So it is more like an entrance examination which the students have to take up, and it is compulsory for all the aspirants, irrespective of age, gender, region, qualification. Everybody should take up CSEET examination. It is an examination for 200 marks, and there are 4 papers in this. So everybody should score an aggregate of 40% marks in all papers, and 50% should be the overall aggregate to clear the CSEET exam. So this is a very interesting entrance examination that has been created by ICSI. I call it interesting simply because the choice of subjects that are made by the institute is very interesting. It starts with business communication. So there is a lot of stress given on English language and communication, which is very important. Because once somebody becomes a company secretary, he becomes a professional. So a professional should be in a position to talk to people, to put across his ideas and suggestions and all those things. And whether we like it or not, today English is the international business language, and most of the business transaction, even in our country, happens through English language. So it is important for the aspiring company secretaries to make sure that they have complete command over the language, and they communicate effectively, efficiently, and in the proper manner. So that is why there is one full subject, one full paper, which is reserved for business communication. And then we have the second paper, which is the combination of legal aptitude, because company secretaries are responsible for the compliance issues in the company. So they are the advisors to the promoters of the company to make sure that they follow the rules and regulations correctly. So having the knowledge of law at the entrance level itself is very, very important. Going further, you will take up higher level studies in the law related subjects. You'll be going deeper into the subject, but it is introduced at the initial stages itself, which is a very good move. Then it has the logical reasoning part. This deals with the basic mathematics, which is very important. So that is what the logical reasoning deals with. It deals with the basic plus, minus, multiplication, and division. So it is very important because logical reasoning helps us to think logically, and it leaves us with that sharpened brain which is required for us to deal with clients and companies and all those things. So that is about the paper 2. It's a combination of legal aptitude and logical reasoning. Third paper, we discussed this yesterday. I gave a complete description, detailed description of this. Those of you who were not there in the session yesterday can go to our channel on YouTube, which already you are in. So the recorded session is already there. You can go through, and have explained each and every chapter and given the summary of the 8 chapters that we have in paper 3, which deals with economic and business environment. Now, the last paper that we have is the paper 4. Again, it has 2 parts, part A and part B. Part A deals with current affairs. So I'll be explaining what is current affairs, what should you read, and what should you do, and all that in this session. And part B of this paper deals with Viva Voce. Now, what is Viva Voce all about? When we were in school, we had the oral examination. So something very, very similar to that, but at a higher level. So that is what we'll be doing in the Viva Voce paper. So paper 4 has 2 parts. First part is current affairs, and second part is the Viva Voce. Now, coming to our academy, like all of you know, it is Ekcel Academy. And Ekcel Academy has been training the company secretary aspirants for the last almost 1 decade now. So there are faculties who are highly experienced and qualified and who have been training the company secretary aspirants for a very long period now. And the good thing about Ekcel Academy, it is promoted, and faculty members are also company secretaries. I am not one, but my fellow teachers are all company secretaries. So this is a wonderful opportunity for the aspiring company secretaries to come in contact with already practicing company secretaries. So they would leave you with the practical knowledge as well as the theoretical knowledge. To be very honest, talking to professionals and trying to understand what exactly they do itself is a great learning. I must confess that I have been a beneficiary, because I talk to these company secretaries, and the kind of inputs and dimension that they give to, it may be work related matter or it may be life related matter. When they give all these inputs, it makes things very nice and interesting. So that is one of the USPs of Ekcel Academy. The promoter is a company secretary, and the faculty members are also the company secretaries. Fine. So this is about the academy. Now, coming to the CSEET exam and coaching from Ekcel Academy, as soon as CSEET was launched, we geared up to make sure that we extend coaching for CSEET. Like all of you know, this is one of the leading English channels for CSEET and CS Executive Professional Coaching. The medium of education here, the medium of instruction in this academy has always been English. So it is easy for people coming from different parts of the country who do not follow other languages, because like I told you, English is the most common language that all of us use for conversing. So all our classes, be it recorded classes, be it live sessions, be it the interaction that we have, it all happens in English, and it makes it all the more easier for people coming from different parts of the country where Hindi or other languages are not spoken. Right. So we successfully completed 2 batches of CSEET training, and we had great response. We had good number of students who joined the course, and we had live sessions, digital live sessions on a daily basis. So that was the most beautiful part. We easily had almost 200 hours of live sessions to the students, and the response was amazing. And the best part, which I liked, is the diversity in the classroom. Now, what is the meaning of this diversity? Diversity is we had students from all parts of the country. So for a professional course, this is very important. An issue is seen from different angles from people coming from different parts of the country. Say, for example, you take, say, increase in income tax, or say, change in GST rates. The way in which a businessman looks at it, the way in which an employee looks at it is completely different. Similarly, any political development that takes place, or any changes that happens in the legal matters in the country. So all these are viewed by different people coming from different states in different ways. So when we have a highly diverse class, we had students from Uttar Pradesh, from Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, Maharashtra, all these places. So the kind of discussion that this used to lead was amazing. And like they tell, the proof of the thing is the proof of the pudding is in this. So what we observed is that we got amazing results. So all the discussion that we had, all the learning that we had, translated to great results. We had 100% results in both the batches, and that was amazing for all of us. It really encouraged and motivated us. So now for the 3rd batch, what we are doing is we are coming out with recorded sessions, which is already available, which is made available to all of you. All our lectures are well documented. It is recorded and it is available. Apart from this, there will be live sessions that happens for us to have discussion, doubt clearing sessions, to have deeper understanding, to look at it from different dimensions. Then there'll be motivation sessions that happens. This is a very common thing. A lot of people ask me, sir, why is motivation session required for CS aspirant? It's very simple. These courses, I'm not telling they are difficult. If it was difficult, so many people would not have cleared. It is definitely not difficult. Is it easy? I'll be lying if I tell that these exams are easy. Correct. So these exams are neither easy nor difficult. So what are they? They are challenging. Correct. So when we have this kind of a situation where we will be facing challenges of different types, what we generally observe is the motivation level of the students dip and they decide to quit, right? So they quit the course. They tell that it is not for me. So that is where mind holding, hand holding, guiding, giving direction, setting the right tempo, all these things become very important. And at Ekcel Academy, an attempt is made by all the teachers to make sure that your motivation levels are always on the higher side. Right. So there are cases where we feel like we are defeated, or we start feeling that it is not for me, it is very difficult, I'll not be able to do this. So during that time, there are faculty members, there are people who will handhold you and make sure that your motivation level is on the higher side, and we do it. Now, to be very honest, sometimes when I feel down and I feel defeated at times, it is a very common thing that I go to Ekcel Academy. I talk to CS Alok, who is the promoter of Ekcel Academy. So when I talk to him, I start feeling, yes, I can also do this. So there is a direction. So this is how Ekcel Academy works. So every person in the academy makes or tries to make sure that students' enthusiasm is on the higher side. So this is what is given to you along with the recorded sessions. So recorded sessions will give you all the learning content that you want. Apart from that, mentoring, motivation session, doubt clearing session, live sessions, quizzes, notes, all these things is extended to you so that you prepare yourself in the most comprehensive way that is possible and go out and write your exams. And the idea is, in the first attempt itself, every student who enrolls in the academy should clear the CSEET examination and then take up the executive levels and clear it in the due course of time. So this is the clear-cut objective with which we have been working. And all that I told now, why am I telling all these things, is to make one thing very clear, that the methodology that we have adopted, or the pedagogy that we are using to reach to y'all through the content that is prescribed by ICSI, is time tested and time verified. So we have tested this, we have tried this, our students have given us feedback, and the best feedback that we can get is the results. So results have been wonderful. So that gives us the confidence that the direction in which we are taking our students is right, and they will definitely meet with success provided they follow the instructions or the guidelines that we give. So that is how we work at Ekcel Academy. And if you are interested to be a student at Ekcel Academy, want to enroll for our video classes and other things, there is a link that is given in the description just below the video which all of you are viewing. You can click on that. I told this in yesterday's class also. This is a very simple form. I think it has only 3 or 4 fields, very, very simple things. So you can just click on that and fill up all the fields in that. And the admin and the tech team will get in touch with you. So they will give you information about enrollment and how to prepare it, how to register, and how to download the app and videos and all those things. So the hand holding starts right away. So as all of you know, this is a series of live sessions that are being done. So yesterday I was here, I was discussing the economic and business environment. Today I'm discussing current affairs. So tomorrow we have Vivavos. So this way, there are different lecturers, faculty members who will be coming and who will be talking to you and introducing you all to the subjects that they teach to make sure that you understand what exactly CSEET is all about. So this is the introduction which I wanted to give, so that there is clarity why we are doing this live session and what is it that you can expect from this live session. Do not forget, let me repeat this once again. If you are a CS aspirant, if you are looking for the best in the class coaching for your CSEET exams, you just have to do a very simple thing. There is a link that is provided in the description. Just click on that, fill up very simple 3 or 4 fields, then you are done. Your job is done. The tech and the admin team will get in touch with you and they will guide you about the next steps that you're supposed to follow. Fine. So I think this should be the introduction for us to start the session. In case if you have any doubts, you can leave it in the description. I would take it up at the right time to make sure that your doubts are clarified. There is one question that has come. It says, sir, we were told that we don't have Vivavos for November 21st CSET exam. Yes. So for the last 2 examinations, Vivavos is not there. Since it is pandemic and people are not allowed to gather in one place because all this tension is going on. So as of now, that is for the November 21st examination, there will be no Vivavos. So it will be a written type of examination. But in the examinations to come, by then things should be under control. We all know that many companies are coming out with vaccine, and they have told that it is 90-95% effective on the coronavirus. So this pandemic should be brought under control, and by then things should become normal, and we should go back to the plan that ICSI has done. So that was the question which came from Abhi Subha. I hope I have answered your question. If you have any other questions related to current affairs today, please do drop your questions. I would be very happy to take it up and answer the questions. Fine. So just like yesterday, those of you who were there yesterday, just like yesterday, today also, first I'll be taking you through the syllabus. So let us see which are the different chapters that are there for us. And later I will take up one particular topic from the CSEET syllabus, and I'll be discussing. So next 5-10 minutes, let us discuss the syllabus, and maybe next 15 minutes after that, let us discuss one particular topic. So let me start with the syllabus. CSEET paper 4 part A has only 4 chapters. So that's a very nice thing. If I have to quantify it, how long, how lengthy the syllabus is, it's very simple. All put together, it is a 90-page syllabus that you have. Over. That's all. 90 pages to be read. If you compare it with economics, if you compare it with law, if you compare it with business communication and all that, this is the shortest the syllabus that you have. Right. So you all should feel happy about it. Is it that? To be honest, it is not that. Anyway, I'll tell you what it is. Let us start with the chapters. The first chapter is national and international organizations, or national international organization and affairs. So this is what we'll be doing in the first chapter. This is the longest chapter that you have. This runs for 45 pages. It starts with international organizations like the IMF and G20, BRIC and all that. From there, it moves on to the national organizations. Then we talk about political leaders, business leaders, sports, language, awards, national symbols and emblem. Then we go to the national bird, national animal. So there are a variety of things. Even sports is included in this. So there are a variety of things that are included in this chapter, which is happening at the national level as well as at the international level. So one of the most informative and one of the vast chapters that we have in the CSEET paper 4. Very, very interesting. Some things may appear very easy, but few things are new to us. And when you read, you will feel very happy. So that's about chapter number 1. Chapter number 2, I think, deals with financial affairs or maybe political affairs. The order doesn't matter. So let us take financial affairs. So here again, we'll be reading about the RBI, mutual funds and insurance and all that. It is sort of repetition of what we see in the 4th chapter of economic and business environment. So here you come to know about the latest things that have happened in the banking sector, insurance, mutual fund and all that. So very, very interesting thing you will get to read here. From there, we move to the political affairs. This starts with the cabinet ministers, the prime minister of the country, the important decisions the government has taken, the important policies that government has rolled out, or the important activities that government has started. All these things get covered in the political affairs. Very interesting chapter once again. And the last chapter deals with the legal affairs. So here we come across the Supreme Court, the High Courts, the administrative tribunals. Again, we have a note on NCLT, NCLAT, Competition Commission of India. All these things come under legal and other affairs. And in other affairs, we come to know some of the milestone or landmark judgments that have been given by Supreme Court of India. So these are the things that we would be studying in the 4th chapter of current affairs. So what do we understand here is that the syllabus introduces us to a variety of things. Like I told you, there are things which are as simple as the national animal, which is tiger, right? And the national bird, which is peacock, the national flower, which is lotus. From there, it goes to something like NCLT, NCLAT, administrative tribunals. Then we also talk about some of the landmark judgments that the Supreme Court has taken, which is going to impact, which is going to influence the lives of all the people in the country. So you can imagine from the most simplest or something which all of us have learned in our childhood days to something which is happening today and which is very, very important. To that level, this syllabus takes us. most of the time when I start teaching current affairs, students ask this question to me. Sir, if we read this entire book, 90 pages, right, is it enough? Are we going to do well in the examination? No. Answer is no. Then you will ask me this question, then why are you even making us read this? This syllabus introduces us to different things, the range of things which we should know, which we should keep a track of. That is what the syllabus is telling us. You should know about national animal, national bird, the cabinet of the country, the Supreme Court, the High Court, the NCLT, the latest regulations and legislations that have been brought in the banking sector. So what is happening at the international level, at the World Bank, at the IMF, at the BRICS or at SARC, you should know all these things. So through this syllabus, through these different heads, we are introduced to these things. That's all. So where is the real syllabus for us? The real syllabus is the newspapers. So that is where we get to know the real current affairs. So textbook introduces us to the different heads that a company secretary aspirant should know. That's all. The background is given by the syllabus. But the real learning, the real questions come from the newspaper. So what is to be done, how it is to be done, we would be discussing that in our course of conversation. So this is how the current affairs syllabus or current affairs subjects stand. Now it is very, I must say, it is very saddening that most of us do not read the newspaper. We don't have the habit of reading the newspaper. There are people who read, and most of us don't read it. Correct. We start feeling that we get a lot of updates on WhatsApp, on Instagram, on Facebook. So should we really read the newspaper, and should we really grasp all those things? Is a question that will be there in our minds. So let me tell you one thing. There is no substitute as far as reading newspaper is concerned. No WhatsApp forward, no posts on Instagram and Facebook can actually replace the real joy and the real learning of reading a newspaper, which is very, very important. So if you are a company secretary aspirant, you may be writing the examination in the month of November, or you may be writing it sometime later. Or whenever you write, whatever you do, please make it a point from tomorrow morning. Let's leave today. From tomorrow morning, you make it a point to read the newspaper. The immediate question when I talk like this to my students, the immediate question that comes from them is, sir, which paper should we read? In which language should we read? These are the questions that come. So there is no fixed answer for this, to be very honest. At the end of the day, do you have the information is what matters the most. Correct. I started reading newspaper in my regional language, right? So that's how I started reading the newspaper. But later I realized that along with reading the newspaper, knowing the news, I must also focus on improving my English language. Our mother tongues and our regional language, all these things we would pick up because we would mostly transact in these languages. But English, like I told you, is a business language. It is used for the transactions that we do. So I realized that I should start reading English newspaper. So on one side, it helps me improve my English language. On the other side, it helps me know the news. Next question that comes is, which newspaper to read? There is Deccan Herald, there is Times of India, there is Economic Times, the Business Standard, the Financial Express. There is a big set of newspapers that are available. If you are a company secretary aspirant, if you are taking up CSEET, and if you are planning to score the 20 out of 20 in CSEET current affairs examination, you must read Financial Express and Economic Times or Business Standard. So these are the newspapers which carry news related to the country's economy, the country's finance, and the latest things that are happening in the business world. So that's the reason why we should read Financial Express or Business Standard or Economic Times. I personally prefer Financial Express, and I was told that Institute is also having an MOU, and the Institute also tells its members, that is the existing company secretaries and the aspiring company secretaries, to read Financial Express so that they get to know a lot of things. So please read this newspaper. You can either subscribe for a hard copy, or you can always download their app or soft copy and start reading it. So you must start from the top, first page, left hand top, last page, right hand bottom. You should read the entire newspaper. Initially, to be very, very honest, initially reading this becomes very boring. 40% of the things we don't understand at all. Sometimes the language that they use will not be the regular language that we use in our day-to-day transaction. So we may have to take the help of a dictionary, or we have to go to Google and check all these things. That's fine. So this pain will be there for the first 10-15 days. But later, we will get used to it. We will get to that groove. And then we will start enjoying reading this newspaper. And we get connected. So I read this yesterday. Today, this news has come. So there is a relation between the two. So this is the development that has taken place. And this is good, this is bad, this is right, this is wrong. So that kind of analysis also, you will start doing it. So analytical skills will also improve. And you will reach a stage where you will be in a position to form your own opinion. This is very, very important. Be it a political affair, be it an economic affair, be it a financial affair, whichever thing it is important for aspiring professionals like you to have your own opinion. And these opinions that you form should be backed by facts and figures. It should be rational. You cannot mix emotion here. Somebody told, that's why I believe this, or this is told by this person, so it should be right. So that kind of things will not be there. When you start reading newspaper, when you start understanding all these things, it becomes very easy for you. Now the question that comes is, if everything is in the newspaper, if you have to read the newspaper and prepare for the examination, why should we even go through the syllabus? As I told you, once you start reading the newspaper, maybe I trust that all of you will start reading the newspaper from tomorrow. So if you are reading the newspaper from tomorrow, like I told you, 20, 30%, 40% sometimes we don't understand it all. So for that, some theoretical base is required. From some theoretical knowledge is required, right? So that is where this syllabus will leave us with some academic inputs, which will give us the theoretical framework, which will give us the historic data, which will also help us to give a framework within which we have to look for news. So that is how this syllabus is going to help us. So what is the syllabus all about? This syllabus is all about understanding the various heads, the different heads that we have to read and understand and follow when we read the newspaper. I hope all of you have understood the syllabus, the chapters, the importance of reading newspaper, and the importance of going through the syllabus. If you have any questions, you may please leave it in the chat box, which is right below the video, and I would be very happy to take those questions and answer it. So before proceeding ahead, let me very quickly check if there are any questions that have come. If there are any questions, I can take it up and answer. Okay. Mock test was very bad because it had many technical issues. There are many dates, any solution. How to deal with dates? Okay. Ravi Kumar Singh is asking this question, how to deal with dates. Let me be very honest. Humanly, it is not possible to remember all the dates. Not possible. If you ask me, like, when was Mahatma Gandhi born? 2nd October 1869. When was Jawaharlal Nehru born? 14th November 1889. When was the Jallianwala Bagh mishap? 1919. Then you can ask, when did the First World War start? 1914. When did it end? 1919. When did the Second World War start? 1939. When did it end? 1944. When was the first stock market established in India? 1883. Right? When was the new economic policy introduced? 1991. When was the first industrial policy introduced in the country? 1948. I remember. That's all. Over. These are the dates that I remember. If you ask me many things to be remembered, to be registered, it is not possible. So what should you do? You should at least know 50% of the dates that are given to us. Important things, right? When was SEBI established? When was IRDA established? When was Narsimhan Committee established? When was the industrial policy, first industrial policy? When was the new industrial policy or LPG introduced in the country? Right? When was IBBI? Institute for Bankruptcy and other things, when was that established? So when was NCLT, NCLAT established? Right? Such things become very important. There is no goal. There is no other choice. We have to write and practice. These dates should simply get registered, because these are very, very important things. These are landmark developments that have taken place in the country. In our lifetimes, we are not supposed to forget the year 1991, because the liberalization, privatization, and globalization, which was brought about by the then Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao, changed the entire landscape of the Indian economy. Today, when we are happily sitting on 5%, 6%, 7%, 8% GDP growth, the seed for that was sown in the year 1991. So this year in the economic history of our country is extremely important. So there is no other choice. You have to learn this. Okay, so these are some of the things. What generally I do, I will tell you. Say, for example, I keep a year in mind. Say, for example, 1947. Why is 1947 important for all of us? Because the independent Republic India was established in the year 1947. We got independence. So that is why 1947 is very important. So whenever there is a date to be remembered, be it Second World War, be it the First World War, be it the first stock market, be it the first bank, the Imperial Bank, or the formation of the SBI, or the passing of the SBI Act in the Parliament, or the LIC Act which was passed in the Parliament, what I do is I either add or subtract from 1947. So we got independence in 1947, but RBI was established in the year 1934-35 itself. So 10, 12 years even before independence, RBI was established. Right? We got the independence in 1947, and the Imperial Bank of India was merged with State Bank of India, which was passed by passing an act in the Parliament, which is called the SBI Act, in the year 1955. So when did this happen? 8 years after independence. So when was the LIC Act passed? It was again passed sometime during 1955. So when was the first 5-year plan introduced? Soon after India became Republic in the year 1950-51. So this is how, keep one date as the base mark, and from there you start thinking, was it before independence? Was it after independence? How many years before independence? How many years after independence? This is how you can remember. So what sort of economy has India got? When India became independent in the year 1947, we decided to have a mixed economic structure. But India very consciously took a decision in the year 1991 to move from mixed economic structure to capitalistic economic structure. So how many years after independence India decided to do this? Almost after 43, 44 years. So this is how you can keep one date as a base, and then start thinking, and then start adding, subtracting, before, after, all these things. You can do it. I hope I have answered your question, Rahul Singh. I hope this was of some help to you. Minimum how many minutes it will take us to read it? I did not get. Sir, today mock test was very bad because it has many technical questions. Okay. Whole newspaper. Hello, sir. I'm appearing CSEET in Jan. From where I should start in case of current affairs? Okay. Where should you start is the question. If you take, once I started, I've been dealing with current affairs for quite some time now. But for CSEET, I've been doing it for the last 6 months or so. During lockdown, Ekcel Academy made it a point that we will come out with a daily update on current affairs and make sure our students are thorough with it. So that is the time I started following Financial Express very closely. Otherwise, I used to look into various websites for inputs. So if you ask me, if you are reading Financial Express, from where should you start? You should start from the top. See, generally, there'll be 1 or 2 photos of 2 people. Maybe, say, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and RBI Governor Shashikant Das. So their photos will be there, right? So after that, their names will be there. And then a statement given by them will be given. So start from there. In fact, when I was in college, I was told by my current affairs teacher, she asked, what is the first thing that we should read in the newspaper? We all told sports, cinema, and politics, and all those things. But our teacher told us, our teacher actually quoted Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. So APJ Abdul Kalam has told that always start reading the newspaper with the cartoon, with the joke that will be given. So with a very pleasant mind, you will start reading the newspaper. But when you take Financial Express or Business Standard or Economic Times, we will not have that cartoon section. At least I have not seen. I don't know if I've missed it. I'm sorry if I've missed it. Right. So that might not be there is what I feel. So what we can do is start with the personality, start with their statement. So along with their photo, their name, their designation will also be given. And there is a section in current affairs which deals with personalities and their designation and all that. Who is the chairman of SBI? Who is the chairman of SEBI? Who is the finance minister? Who is the RBI governor? So all such questions can be expected there. So that is the best thing to do. Every page in Financial Express, almost every page, will have at least one personality, their statement, and their name and designation. So if you start from there, you will get to know a lot of people. Then start reading with the front page. So some very important things would be mentioned there, be it related to taxation or government policy or some merger and acquisition or some big investment that would have happened. All those things would be there. So from there, you can start reading. And sometimes the news in the first page will continue to page number 2 and 3 as well. So you get to know more about the details will be given to you. Then in the middle pages, there'll be articles written by people. These will be lengthy articles. Maybe in a day, there'll be 4 or 5 articles in the middle pages. So maybe to begin with, start reading at least one article a day. It will be around 200, 250 words, not more than that. So you will take 5-6 minutes to read this article. Try to grasp as much as possible. Some of the eminent people in the economy, in the business world would be writing these articles. They would have shared their opinion. Then there'll be news related to brands. There'll be news related to the startup ecosystem of the country. So all these things will be there. Then there'll be news on stock market. Then there'll be international news that will be there. So initially, when you start reading the newspaper, I would say you have to keep it aside at least 30 minutes. 30 minutes would be required in the beginning. But as and when you proceed ahead, the time that you take reduces because the background will be there. You would have read the syllabus. You would have read newspaper for 3, 4, 5 days. So you would have understood what exactly the news is. Then when you read it, becomes very easy. Very easily you can connect and start reading it. So at later stages, you would need around 15 minutes to read the most important things in the newspaper. At one glance, you will understand all the important things and developments. Then based on your interest, you may read 5 middle page articles. So each may take 5 minutes, so that will be for 25 minutes. So let me tell you, reading newspaper with practice, with habit, it becomes an addiction. It's actually a great addiction to have. We tell that addictions are bad, but getting addicted to newspaper is the best thing that you can do because you will be updated. You will know a lot of things that is happening around you. Your language would improve. That it gives you a lot of confidence to talk to people, to connect with people, and it improves your personal as well as professional life. You will be better presenters, better speakers. Who knows? Tomorrow you may become a teacher itself. You may start addressing people. Anything can happen. So reading newspaper is a great habit to have. So please start doing it. Let me just check if there are any more questions from your side. Where I should start in case of current affairs. I think Anjali, I think I have answered your question. I'm appearing in January. Okay, minimum how many minutes? I think I've answered even that question. So in that case, I will go to the textbook, maybe another 10-15 minutes of textbook discussion. We will quickly go through some of the international organizations, and then we can wrap up the session. Fine. So let's start with the first thing here. So the international bodies that we have, the international bodies that we'll be studying in the syllabus includes IMF, then ASEAN, then BRICS, then SAARC, then G20, and the BIMSTEC. So these are the important international bodies that are given to us in the syllabus, which means that whenever there is a news related to any of these bodies, we should make sure that we read, understand, and we prepare for it, right? So this is the International Monetary Fund's logo, and let's look at some of the important things. The International Monetary Fund is an organization of 189 countries. Approximately, there are 200 countries in the world. So 189 countries are a part of the IMF. They've all taken membership with IMF. It is working to foster global monetary cooperation, secure financial stability, facilitate international trade, promote high employment and sustainable economic growth, and reduce poverty around the world. So they mostly look into the money-related matters of all the countries, and they are there to support the countries to make sure that their monetary systems are strong. So some of the quick facts that we have related to IMF. There are 189 countries. Its headquarters is in Washington, D.C., USA. So there are 24 directors, each representing a single country or a group of countries. There are the largest borrowers are Argentina, Ukraine, Greece, and Egypt. So largest precautionary loans is given to Mexico, Colombia, and Morocco. So the primary objectives of IMF includes promote international monetary cooperation, facilitate the expansion and balanced growth of international trade, promote exchange stability, assist in the establishment of multilateral system of payments, and make resources available to member nations. So this is what is done. And the chief economist of International Monetary Fund is Geeta Gopinath. So she is of Indian origin. Right. So then we have the ASEAN. The expansion of ASEAN stands for Association of Southeast Asian Nations. So ASEAN was created in the year 1967. So it is, like I told you, how to remember the dates. So 20 years after independence, ASEAN has come into existence. Okay. So then going forward, the member nations of ASEAN includes Cambodia, then we have Indonesia, Laos, we have Malaysia, Myanmar, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, Vietnam, and Brunei and Cambodia. So these are the member nations of ASEAN. So this is basically a regional bloc. So countries have come together, they have created this bloc, and they work towards better cooperation and improvement. So this is what they do. So aims of ASEAN includes economic growth, social progress, cultural development, to promote regional peace, to make sure that there is no war and all these countries are peaceful, to establish trade and research facilities, to focus on agriculture and industry, both agriculture, the primary sector, industry, the secondary sector, to maintain cooperation with other regional organizations. So this is what ASEAN aims at, right? So then we have BRICS. So BRICS is a trade bloc, and it is an international trade bloc, very strategically formed by these countries. So this trade bloc includes Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. So the first letters of all these countries are taken together, and we call it BRICS. Okay, right. So when you come to BRICS, BRICS was formed way back in 2006 itself, and India hosted the 2016 summit. So there is inputs that is given. The current president of BRICS is China. It keeps changing. Now, very recently, the BRICS summit again happened. Prime Minister Narendra Modi represented India in the BRICS summit. So India has also signed a deal with Russia for R-27 missiles, which happened in the sidelines of BRICS. So all this information is given to us in the textbook. So what do we understand from this is we have to keep a close watch on BRICS and its developments. So that is the indication that we get from this topic. So 11th summit of BRICS happened in Brazil. So information of that is also given. Like I told you, recently there was a BRICS summit. So you need to read about the BRICS summit and which are the countries that participated and what were the statements the international leaders have made. All such things are to be understood by us. So that is the indication that is given to us by including BRICS in the syllabus. So Brazil, Russia, India, China are the part of it. So last time they met was 13th and 14th, but now they have already met in November 2020. So like I told you, this is the textbook material and it keeps changing every day. That's why it is called current affairs. So what is happening presently is more important. So that is why to know what is happening today with respect to Brazil, we need to read newspaper to know the latest updates, right? So let's go ahead. The next international organization that we have is SAARC. SAARC is actually an India's initiative. It stands for South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. So when was this established? So this was established in the year 1985. This was when Rajiv Gandhi was the Prime Minister of India. Indira Gandhi was assassinated in the year 1984. Then Rajiv Gandhi became the Prime Minister, and he made an attempt to bring all the South Asian countries together. So the member countries of SAARC includes all these countries. So you have Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka. So these are the member nations that we have with respect to SAARC. And SAARC now is not all that active. SAARC is because the important member here is, of course, India. India is the leading member both in terms of geography, in terms of economic power, or in terms of GDP, whatever you take. India is the biggest nation, and India is the biggest contributor for SAARC as well. And India has strongly opposed Pakistan moves, especially with related to support that it is extending to terrorism and other things. So keeping that in mind, India is not actively participating, and India is well supported by other member nations. So they all are telling that terrorism is a universal problem. Countries which support such things should not be included or supported. So that is what we understand. So what we see here is that SAARC, there are many people who tell that SAARC is at the verge of disintegration. So who will be replacing SAARC? There is another group called BIMSTEC. So BIMSTEC would be replacing SAARC. India, Thailand, Bangladesh, Bhutan, all these countries have come together. The common, Thailand is also a part of it. The common thing that connects all the BIMSTEC countries is the Bay of Bengal. They all share the shore of Bay of Bengal, and they are coming together to form a stronger regional bloc. Anyway, so let's move on. Like I told you, BIMSTEC. So the member nations of BIMSTEC are Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Myanmar, Nepal, Sri Lanka, and Thailand. So we know Bhutan is a landlocked country. It might not share the Bay of Bengal coast, but still India has always treated Bhutan as a very friendly nation. We support them in their economic progress. We also support them with the defense and other things. So India has included Bhutan in this. India has always had a policy called the Look East policy. So most of these countries like Thailand and Bhutan and Bangladesh, all of them fall to the eastern side of India. And India wants to have a better relationship with all these countries. So this is about BIMSTEC. So BIMSTEC came into existence way back in 1997. So initially it had Bangladesh, India, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Myanmar. Now there are 14 areas of cooperation that they have found out, and all these countries are working towards it. So this is about the BIMSTEC. The last organization that we would be discussing in this session would be G20. So what does G stand for? G stands for group, 20 stands for countries. So what do we understand from this is these are the world's top 20 countries. So these 20 countries of the world, there is some interesting thing here. G20 members account for 85% of the world's economy, 75% of the global trade, and 2/3 of world population. So 2/3 of world population means for every 3 people that you find in the world, 2 people will be living in one of these 20 countries. 85% of world's economy, say 100 units of goods are produced in the world, 85 of them are produced in these 20 countries. 75% of the global trade, imports, exports, all these things will happen through these 20 countries. So this is a very, very strong association. The top 20 countries, like I told you, there are 200 countries in the world. So the top 20 countries have formed, that is 10% of the world's number of countries. They all have come together and formed the G20 group. And there are summits that happen. There are a lot of discussions, business contacts that happens between these countries. They more or less rule, decide, drive the world's economy. So this is about G20. So this is what you get in the textbook. You get to know the background, you get to know the history, you get to know the things that is happening with all these things. To know what is happening of late, to know the most current development that is happening in the country, you should read the newspapers. So that is very, very important. I hope this session was of some help to all of you. You all got some inputs, and you all had some takeaway from this session. I hope so. And if you have any doubts, you can definitely leave those doubts in the comment section. I'll be here for another 2-3 minutes, so I should be able to answer your question. Okay, open your book and start studying. Okay, fine. How should I start my study? Open your book. Yeah, that's correct. But like I told you, reading newspaper on a daily basis is also important. Actually, I haven't yet started studying current affairs. The syllabus is quite vast, but easy. Yes, Anjali. Yes, it is. It is also not vast, to be very honest. It introduces you to a lot of things. So I think there are no more questions that are coming. And if there are no more questions coming from your side, we can wrap up this session. Like I told you, I'll just remind you all once again. There is a link that is provided in the description. You can just click on the link and fill up the form, and the tech and the admin team will get in touch with you. I hope all of you had some learning to take away from this session. I wish each one of you all the very best, and hope to meet you all during our live sessions. Thank you so much.